What would you create if your entire life was put on pause and you was given 10 weeks to create absolutely anything your heart desired? Well, through a very strange series of bizarre and unthinkable events, I received a letter granting me just that. So we just got 10 weeks, which is 1,680 hours, to create an original Sotep oil painting that will be displayed in the gallery alongside other extremely talented artists in my hometown, here in Bournemouth. But just like anything great that has ever been created, it's better to go together than to go alone. So I have a very important phone call to make. Hey Miles, I think I need your help with this one. Now this is Kevin Lawton. He is an incredible artist within his own right, and he has a well of knowledge on all things in the creative industry and outside of those creative bubbles. With this painting being part of a private show and the scale being something more custom than I'm usually accustomed to, we had no other choice but to start from the very ground up and build our canvas ourselves. This process is a craft within itself, and without the help of Kevin here, I would be completely lost. A lot of creative people nowadays don't even know how to build their own canvases, and I'm in the same boat as them, so I'm really grateful for the help here of Kevin. I highly recommend that you go check out his work for yourself, because honestly, he is an incredible artist, and I'll leave a link to his work in the description of this video. We've hit the canvas up with the first layer of paint. I'm now going to leave that to dry before I start sanding it up, and the next stage will be then primarily getting the sketch from paper onto the canvas. And speaking about the sketch, let me just show you where we're at with it at this moment. This base sketch is just a rough, giving me the opportunity to play around with both tone and composition. The composition in itself is a lot more planned out, where I'm trying to use triangles to set up the main figure, surrounded with a variation of rectangles to better lead the viewer's eye. I also plan to utilize other parts of the painting to emphasize the key symbolism ingrained in this painting. And luckily for me, I managed to set myself up in Harry Potter's cupboard. And for those that don't understand the reference, I think it's best I just show you. White is such a strong colour, so here I'm using a burnt umber to neutralise the canvas and give me a middle ground where instead of only being able to add darker tones, I can also incorporate lighter tones. This stage right here is known as the underpainting, and it makes a huge difference on the later stages if the underpainting is done correctly. Pretty much strongly, this is all just white spirit on this canvas, so what I'm going to have to do is leave this to sit for at least a couple hours now. I clear the room, make sure there's no white spirit in the room, because obviously the fumes aren't good for you. Yeah, once it's dry, I can go over the darker tones, lighter tones, whites and like a pure burnt umber, and bring the whole painting alive. Really start to flesh out more detail. This painting itself is chock full of meaning and different symbolism that I researched heavily on the run up to actually painting this. Although now I'm sure of you that would love me to dive deep and explain every bit of symbolism and meaning within this painting, I kinda want to leave it open ended so the person watching it, the viewer, can put their own meaning upon what it is that they're seeing. I kind of view it similarly to like when you listen to a really amazing song and then you go and watch the music video just for that video to cast a real dark shadow over the song that you once truly loved. Sometimes I'm realizing it's better not to say everything when you're working, but sometimes just giving it space to breathe. underpainting is in place. I'm using a titanium white and burnt umber. It's a classic way of doing underpainting. But there were a few adjustments we had to do here in the corner. Here we had to make the bird a lot smaller just to help the composition of the whole piece. With it being too big, it sort of really overpowered the girl on the far right. But now it's on the left, it's a lot smaller. It sort of makes this look more impactful instead of the big bird taking over the left of the canvas. So now what I'm going to do is go over the whole thing again, just painting in the darker tones, so that the real dark umbers and the lighter tones, and from there start figuring out colour arrangement and make sure everything is looking correct, basically, and full of colour. If it's because I have a background with graffiti and lettering, but when I work, my mind likes to break a painting into separate layers. And this is also something many people comment on when they look at my paintings. To begin with here, I'm going straight into the background elements. I want to really create something dramatic with a lot of mood, but at the same time, I want to be void of any extreme details. I feel like in this painting, there is so much going on in the foreground with the figures, that if I was to put too much details in the background, it would actually take away from the areas of the painting that I want to highlight. Trying to think 4 steps ahead and know that later on I want the colour of the main figures to really pop off this canvas. So I plan here to not only reduce finer details in the background but also to kind of mute the colours. But instead of using a flat and boring black and grey, there's also a lot of blue mixed in and some ochres to separate certain background elements. This will hopefully set me up to play around with different colours in the later stages. Because of the vast amount of tiny intricate details, I'm having to go in here with the very small brushes. This means I have to be way more precise with where I decide to lay down the paint. It's a lot easier to make a portrait look impactful when it's on a larger scale, but it's a real test to add details to a portrait that's the same size as a 50p pence. I decided to paint the center characters in brighter colors because as the viewer looks into the painting, I want to grab their attention into the middle. This is why I'm choosing this hot pink with the plan to add complementary colors to the nearby figures. But as we started to build momentum and move forward with this painting, there was a slight problem I didn't account for. So currently the space that I'm in is a shared space with other creative people, which is absolutely incredible if you want to just have a conversation and bounce ideas off each other. The only issue that I am facing is I have a deadline and I really struggle with painting something, changing to a different task like a conversation and then suddenly getting back to the painting. The plan now is to take the canvas, take it back to my house and finish it at home and hopefully be able to meet the deadline. The crow has been used for years to represent knowledge, and I wanted to place him on the outskirts looking in whilst resting on the rubbish bags, almost to display knowledge is leaving what's just about to happen in the centre of this painting. I didn't want it just to be black and white either, so decided to mix in some purples and violets to give it more of a colour range to the bin bags the crow is residing on. With the same purple I mixed in for the crow, I'm now going to jump around the canvas to add some harmony, starting with the lady who is crouching nearby. The plan is to keep watching other areas of this painting and see where I can keep adding the purple tone along with its complementary colours of the colour wheel. Rabbits are a representation of lust and fertility, which makes me think a lot about today and the way that symbols are used. Take the Playboy bunny for example. I wanted to show contrast between the wild rabbits that you can see scattered all throughout this canvas and then this woman in the front who is holding her rabbit close, looking away from all the crazy things that happen within the centre of this painting. now working in some greens to complement the purples we put in earlier. There's a lot of fabric textures within this painting, so I'm looking to catch all of the different fabric colours to really make this canvas pop. For the skin tones, I'm keeping it fairly muted as there's already a lot of colours, and if I was to start adding in the red, blush and the oranges that you find a lot in the skin tone, I feel there would be too many colours existing on this canvas. got 2 days until the show, until this paint has to go in there, and we've hit a massive roadblock by my own mistake. Yesterday I thought we'd be finished today, so I kind of rushed a little bit. I didn't check the colours too well, and basically the colour of this girl here, it doesn't match anything else in the painting at all. Finally, we've lost a day and a half, and I've only got pretty much 1 day to finish this off and make sure the colours are correct. If the colours aren't correct this time round, I don't know what we're going to do. Now is on. I'm not going to lie, it's pretty intense right now. Yeah.
Fear none, gotta stand tall too many times. Bust down a new jank up, it's too many diamonds. Like, what you gonna do, baby? You too damn fine. Let's run it up.
Now, I never know why this is, but for most of my project, I'm fully devoted 95% of the way. But when it comes to that final push, it's like I have lost complete interest. Now, most would say going 10 weeks without a single day off is its own achievement. But for me, I see it that if I made it this far, it would be a shame to flop one of the main focal points of this painting so far within the game. And with the clock running down and my stamina dropping, my hand is forced and I have no other option but to stop and get this sent out to the gallery for the show. To say this painting hasn't been one of my biggest challenges to date would be an understatement. And before this is displayed to the general public here in Bournemouth, let's see if our hard work has paid off. Firstly, I need to say a massive thank you for everyone watching the video and coming along on my journey, and as always I need to say a huge thank you to everybody on the Patreon team. Honest to God, if it wasn't for you guys, none of these videos would be possible, and nowadays with a bigger project it just takes so much time. I need those extra days to create and be able to produce content for all you guys. As always, I hope it's going well in your creative journey. Keep well, one love, peace.